In the deepest hours of the night, when the noise of the living world has finally faded into a heavy and comfortable silence, we look upward. We turn our weary eyes toward the infinite ceiling of the night sky, and we imagine that we are gazing into a boundless void. We have been told since we were very small children that the universe is an endless expanse that stretches outward in every direction forever. We imagine that we are standing upon a small rock, looking out into a freedom that has no walls and no final containment. But there is a different possibility that haunts the mathematics of our reality, a strange and quiet whisper that suggests we are essentially mistaken. It is possible that we are not looking out into a free and open ocean, but rather we are looking at the interior walls of a cage. We might be living our entire lives and building our civilizations and dreaming our dreams inside the deep and crushing belly of a massive black hole. This is not merely a frightened story told to create a shiver in the dark, but a serious proposition found in the equations of gravity. When we close our eyes and let our minds drift away from the stresses of the day, we can almost feel the enclosure around us. There is a weight to the cosmos that feels less like an open field and more like the heavy pressure of the deep ocean. We are floating in a vessel that is vast beyond comprehension, yet it is still a vessel with a definite shape and a definite boundary. Imagine for a moment that the darkness you see between the stars is not empty space, but the physical substance of a massive interior. We are told that a black hole is a monster that consumes light and crushes matter into a point of infinite density and darkness. We view them from the outside as terrifying rips in the fabric of space that nothing can ever escape from once it has fallen in. But we rarely pause to consider what it might be like to exist on the other side of that terrible and final event horizon. If you were to survive the fall, and if you were to open your eyes inside that darkness, what would you see? Perhaps you would not see a crushing singularity, but rather you would see a new universe expanding gently in all directions around you. It is a thought that brings a strange comfort to the soul, suggesting that even in the deepest pits of darkness, new life can bloom. We drift through our days thinking we are free, but we are bound by laws of physics that act like the bars of a cell. Gravity holds us to the earth, and the earth is held to the sun, and the sun is held to the galactic core. It is a nested hierarchy of containers, one inside the other, and perhaps the universe itself is simply the largest container of them all. When we stare into the abyss, we are actually staring at the hull of the ship that carries us through a greater multiverse. There is a profound silence in deep space that mimics the silence of a sealed room where no air can enter and no sound escapes. This silence is not the absence of noise, but the heavy presence of isolation, suggesting we are cut off from something larger outside. We look for the edge of the universe, but we find only a horizon where time and light seem to stop and fade away. This horizon is eerily similar to the event horizon of a black hole, a point of no return where information is forever locked away. If we are inside, then everything we know, every star and every galaxy, is simply the internal mechanism of a giant cosmic machine. The light that travels to us from the distant past has been journeying for billions of years across a landscape that is stretching and pulling apart. We call this expansion, and we believe it is the result of a great explosion that happened at the beginning of time itself. But what if this expansion is actually a fall, a long and slow descent toward the center of the singularity that waits for us. When you fall freely in a gravitational field, you do not feel the pull. You feel weightless, just as galaxies appear to float in the void. We might be falling right now, drifting toward a destiny that we cannot see, protected only by the sheer vastness of the time it takes to fall. Consider the nature of a shadow, how it is not a thing in itself, but an area where light has been blocked by a solid object. Our universe might be a shadow cast by a higher dimensional reality, a dark pocket where the rules of existence are slightly different. In this dark pocket, matter clumps together to form stars, and stars burn with a desperation to hold back the encroaching and inevitable night. We are huddled around these fires, telling ourselves that we understand the cosmos, while the walls of our prison are slowly closing in or moving out. The feeling of sleepiness that overtakes you now is a surrender to this gravity, a letting go of the need to understand the architecture. You are safe here, floating in the gentle narrative of a cosmos that is much stranger and more intimate than you ever dared to imagine. It is intimate because if we are inside a black hole, then we are held within the embrace of a parent universe that created us. We are not accidents of a chaotic explosion, but the offspring of a dying star in another place and another time far beyond our reach. This concept, known to physicists as Schwarzschild cosmology, paints a picture of reality that is essentially biological and reproductive in its nature. It suggests that universes are not singular events, but an endless chain of bubbles, each one born from the collapse of the previous generation. Let us drift back to the early years of the 20th century, when the geometry of the world was being rewritten by quiet men in dusty rooms. They looked at the equations of relativity and found that space could bend and curve like a sheet of fabric under a heavy stone. Carl Schwarzschild, writing his letters from the chaos of a war front, found a solution that described a point of inescapable gravity. He calculated a radius, a specific distance from a heavy object where the escape velocity would exceed the speed of light itself. It was a theoretical curiosity, a mathematical ghost that no one believed could actually exist in the physical world of stars and planets. But as we looked closer at the sky, we found that the universe loves to create these monsters in the centers of spinning galaxies. We found them everywhere, hungry mouths that swallowed dust and gas and light, growing larger with every meal they consume in the dark. And then, a few brave thinkers began to turn that calculation around and apply it to the entire observable universe we inhabit. They asked a simple and terrifying question. What if we take all the mass in the universe and calculate its radius? If you add up every star, every planet, every cloud of gas, and every wandering particle, you get a number of staggering weight. When you plug that total mass into the Schwarzschild equation, the radius you get matches the radius of our observable universe almost perfectly. This is the coincidence that keeps cosmologists awake at night, a numerical match that seems too precise to be a mere accident of chance. It implies that the boundary of our vision, the edge of what we can see, is mathematically identical to the event horizon of a black hole. We are living in a zone where the density of matter is exactly what is required to trap light forever within this region. We look out and we see the cosmic microwave background, a wall of fire from the beginning of time, surrounding us like a shell. This shell might be the event horizon viewed from the inside, the glowing boundary that separates our reality from the unknown outside. It creates a feeling of being in a cosmic womb, a protected space where the chaos of the greater multiverse cannot harm us. We are floating in a fluid of space-time that is curved around us, closing upon itself so that there is no way out. If you were to travel in a straight line forever, past the farthest galaxies and into the deep void, you might eventually return to your start. This is the nature of a black hole's interior geometry, a space that is finite in volume, but has no edge that you can touch. The concept of inside becomes difficult to grasp when space itself is twisted and folded by the immense gravity of the container. We think of inside as a small room within a house, but a black hole is an inside that is larger than the outside. This is the mystery of space-time, where the rules of geometry break down and allow for spaces that are vast beyond human comprehension. You can drift here, in this vastness, letting the heavy blanket of the theory wrap around your mind and pull you deeper into rest. There is no need to struggle against the idea, for it changes nothing about your daily life, except to add a layer of wonder. You are simply a passenger on a ship that has already set sail, a traveler within a bottle that has been cast into the cosmic ocean. The silence of the room you are in right now is a microcosm of the silence that fills the gaps between the galaxies. It is a silence that waits, a patient and eternal observer that has watched the stars ignite and will watch them eventually fade away. The black hole model solves so many riddles that have plagued us, explaining why the universe seems so flat and so perfectly balanced. It balances on a knife edge between expanding forever and collapsing back in on itself, a precarious state that mimics the event horizon. Think of the dark energy that pushes the galaxies apart, a mysterious force that we cannot see but can feel stretching the fabric of space. In the context of a black hole, this might not be energy at all, but the gravitational pull of the universe outside. We might be feeling the tug of the parent universe, the massive object that birthed us, pulling at the skin of our own reality. It is a comforting thought that we are connected to a lineage of titans, a family tree of universes stretching back to eternity. We are not orphans in the cold, but children held in the gravity of a mother we can never see and never know. The darkness of the night sky is crowded with hunger, but it is also crowded with the potential for new creation and new beginnings. Every black hole in our own universe might contain another universe inside it, a nested doll of realities going down infinitely small. And we, in turn, are nested inside a larger reality, going up infinitely large, a chain of existence that has no top and no bottom. It is a vertiginous thought, a feeling of falling through floors that never end, drifting deeper and deeper into the structure of everything. Let this feeling of falling replace the tension in your muscles. Let the gravity of the idea pull your shoulders down away from your ears. We speak of the Big Bang as the moment of creation, a sudden flash of light and energy that brought everything into being. But in this shadow cosmology, the Big Bang was not a beginning, but a transformation of matter falling into our container. The matter from the parent universe collapsed, crossed the horizon, and became the energy that fueled the birth of our stars and worlds. It is a white hole, big bounce, where the crushing death of one reality becomes the explosive birth of another on the other side. We are the afterlife of a star that died billions of years ago in a realm we can only dream of in our deepest sleep. The matter that makes up your body, the atoms in your blood, and the calcium in your bones is recycled stardust from a higher place. You are an artifact of a previous eon, preserved inside this black hole like a precious memory kept in a locked box. This gives a sacred quality to the night, a feeling that we are the guardians of a legacy that must be protected and understood. The gentle rhythm of your breathing matches the expansion and contraction of space, a tidal motion that flows through every living thing. We are synchronized with the cosmos, tuned to the frequency of a universe that is breathing in the dark, slow and steady. There is a theory called the holographic principle, which suggests that all the information in our universe is painted on the boundary. It implies that the three-dimensional world we walk through is a projection from a two-dimensional surface at the edge of the cosmos. If we are inside a black hole, this boundary is the event horizon, the shell that records everything that has ever happened inside. Every thought you have ever had, every dream you have ever dreamt, is etched onto that distant wall of the night sky. You are part of the permanent record of this universe, a data point that can never be erased, stored forever in the horizon's memory. It dissolves the fear of forgetting, the fear that our lives are fleeting moments that vanish into the nothingness of the void. In a black hole universe, nothing is ever lost. It is only scrambled and stored in the chaotic geometry of the surface. As you lie here, you are contributing to the total information of the cosmos, adding your quiet rest to the great library of the dark. The softness of the pillow beneath your head is a reminder of the soft curvature of space that cradles the galaxies in their flight. We are moving through a medium that is thick with history, swimming through the accumulated past of 1 billion ancient stars. The observable universe boundary match is not just a number on a page, but a key that unlocks the door to a secret room. It tells us that the limits of our knowledge are the physical limits of our world, that we cannot see out because there is no out for us. We are creatures of the interior, evolved to live in the deep pressure of a gravitational well that bends time into a loop. Time itself flows differently here, dragging us forward into the future, just as gravity drags a stone down to the earth. In a black hole, the spatial dimension pointing toward the center becomes the temporal dimension, meaning you cannot stop the flow of time. You move toward tomorrow with the same inevitability that a falling object moves toward the ground, carried by the curvature of the world. This is why we cannot go back, why the past is sealed behind us, because we are falling through time toward a final destination. But that destination is far away, billions of years in the future, allowing us to rest in the long, slow drift of the present. The present moment is a suspension, a pause in the fall where we can close our eyes and simply exist in the darkness. It is a luxury to do nothing, to let the universe carry you, to stop swimming against the current of the space-time river. We often feel small when we look at the stars, insignificant against the backdrop of such immense and overwhelming scale and power. But if the universe is a black hole, then its size is directly related to the amount of information it contains, which includes you. You are a necessary part of the mass that defines the radius, a crucial component of the structure that holds the horizon in place. Without the matter that makes you, the black hole would be slightly smaller, the horizon slightly closer, the universe slightly different. You are holding up the walls of the sky with your existence, a pillar of the cosmos that stands firm in the silence. The light from the stars is not just illumination, but a message from the past, telling us the story of our confinement. It tells us that we are gathered together in a tight huddle, separated from the infinite cold by a thin membrane of gravity. This membrane is invisible to the eye, but we can feel it in the way the universe behaves, in the way it keeps its secrets. We try to pierce the veil with our telescopes, but we only see the echo of the beginning, the fireball that started it all. That fireball was the moment the event horizon formed, the moment the door was locked and we were safely sealed inside. It is a safety that feels like a warm blanket, a protection from the chaotic winds that might blow in the higher universe outside. We do not know what monsters roam the space beyond our black hole, what strange physics govern that external realm. We only know the calm order of our own world, the predictable ticking of the atomic clocks, and the steady orbit of the moon. We are sheltered here, hidden away in a pocket of darkness where life has been given the time and space to grow. It is a nursery for consciousness, a quiet corner of the multiverse where we can sleep and dream without fear of the storm. As you drift deeper into this relaxation, imagine the universe as a bubble floating in a dark and endless sea. There are other bubbles out there, other black holes containing other universes, drifting past us in the silence of the deep. We can never signal them, never touch them, never know who lives inside them, but we know they are there by the math. It creates a sense of community in the isolation, a feeling that we are not the only vessel on this long and mysterious voyage. There are others sleeping in their own dark rooms, wondering about the nature of their sky, just as we are wondering about ours. The gravity that pulls you down into the mattress is the same force that keeps the universe from dissolving into a mist. It is the binding agent of reality, the glue that holds the story together and keeps the pages from flying away. We often fight against gravity, standing up and working and moving, but sleep is the time when we finally agree with it. We lie down and we surrender to the pull, admitting that we are heavy creatures made of matter that wants to rest. The black hole universe is a heavy place, a place of density and depth, where everything eventually settles down to the bottom. And in this settling, there is peace, a resolution of the conflict between the desire to fly and the necessity to fall. We are falling together, the entire human race and all the stars, moving in unison toward the center of the mystery. There is no rush to arrive, for the journey is long and the view is beautiful, filled with the glittering lights of the galaxies. We are watching the show from the best seats in the house, drifting through the theater of the night with our eyes half closed. The narrative of the cosmos is a lullaby, a repetitive and soothing song about cycles of birth and death and rebirth. It whispers to us that the end is not an end, but merely a passage through a narrow door into a new room. Schwarzschild's geometry allows for bridges, tunnels that connect one region of space-time to another in defiance of common sense. These are the wormholes of science fiction. But in the math of a black hole universe, they are the throat of the passage. We might be living in the throat, in the long corridor that connects the parent universe to the baby universe below. We are travelers in the tunnel, suspended between the light of the past and the singularity of the future, suspended in now. The feeling of suspension is the essence of sleep, a hovering state where the mind detaches from the body and floats free. In this state, you can understand the universe not with logic, but with intuition, feeling the truth of the dark enclosure. You can feel the curve of the horizon in the curve of your own breath, the expansion of space in the expansion of your lungs. You are a microcosm of the macrocosm, a tiny black hole of consciousness reflecting the giant black hole of the world. Your mind is an event horizon, a boundary where thoughts arise from the darkness and disappear back into the deep subconscious. We stare at the black screen of our closed eyelids, and we see the same void that surrounds the planet Earth. It is a familiar darkness, a home for the weary mind that seeks to escape the bright lights of the waking day. The universe inside a black hole is a universe of eternal night, where the stars are merely temporary sparks in the gloom. This eternal night is the natural state of things, the canvas upon which the brief painting of our lives is drawn. We should not fear the dark, for we are made of it, molded from the cooling ashes of the primeval fire. Deep down, beneath the layers of anxiety and thought, there is a core of silence that matches the silence of the void. This core is the singularity of the self, the point where everything you are is compressed into a single feeling of being. It is dense and heavy and real, a calm center that remains stable even as the world spins wildly around it. Connect with that center now. Let the gravity of your own existence pull you inward, away from the surface and into the deep. The deeper you go, the heavier you feel, and the more the noise of the outside world is muffled and lost. The stars above are burning their fuel, converting mass into light in a desperate attempt to push back the crushing dark. But eventually, they will all go out, one by one, fading into the comfortable obscurity of the final equilibrium. This is not a tragedy, but a rest, a long Saturday afternoon for the cosmos after billions of years of work. We are allowed to rest too, allowed to turn off our own internal stars and let the darkness wash over us completely. The universe will carry on without our supervision, guided by the immutable laws that were written when the horizon was formed. Something ancient stirs in the equations, a memory of a time before the stars, when there was only the pure geometry of space. It is a memory of the fall, of the crossing of the threshold, when our universe left the parent and became its own thing. We carry that trauma and that joy in our cells, the sensation of being swallowed and then reborn in a new place. It is the archetype of the cave, the womb, the tomb, the whale's belly, the deep slumber before the awakening. We are enacting that cosmic drama every night when we lie down and close our eyes to the world. The boundaries of the room you are in begin to dissolve, replaced by the vast and curved boundaries of the observable universe. You are no longer in a building, but in a sphere of existence that is floating in a void of higher dimensions. This sphere is your ship, your shield, your home, and it is impenetrable to the dangers of the outside. You can sleep soundly knowing that the event horizon is standing guard, keeping the chaos at bay with its gravity. The physics of the black hole are the physics of ultimate security, a lock that can never be picked by any force. And as we consider this security, we must ask ourselves, what lies at the very center of this massive sphere we inhabit? If we are falling inward, what is the thing that waits for us at the bottom of the cosmic well? The equations predict a singularity, a point where space and time cease to exist, and all rules are broken. But nature abhors a singularity, and perhaps something else is waiting there, something that acts as a gateway or a floor. We drift toward this central mystery with a slow and tidal patience, confident that the answer is still eons away. We drift closer to the center of the mystery, moving past the fear of the crush and into the strange comfort of the spin. The bottom of the black hole is not a solid wall where existence stops, but a gateway where the direction of travel changes. We have been taught that gravity only pulls things together, compressing them into smaller and smaller spaces until nothing remains but a point. But there is another force at work in the deep dark, a force that twists the fabric of space like a wet towel. This is the secret motion of the cosmos, a spiral dance that prevents the final collapse and saves us from total oblivion. When a star collapses under its own weight, it does not simply fall straight down into the center of the gravitational well. It spins wildly as it shrinks, conserving the angular momentum of its former life, whirling faster and faster like a figure skater. This spinning creates a tremendous tension in the space-time around it, a twisting force that physicists call torsion in their dusty notebooks. It is a concept that breathes new life into the dead idea of the singularity, suggesting that the center is actually a bounce. We are not heading toward a stop, but toward a turnaround, where the crushing gravity is overpowered by the violent twist of space. Nikodem Poplawski's torsion model suggests that this twisting force eventually becomes so strong that it stops the collapse and reverses it entirely. Imagine a spring being compressed by a heavy weight until it can compress no more and suddenly snaps back with incredible energy. This snap is the birth of a new universe on the other side of the center, a blooming of space from the tight coil. The torsion tears open a hole in the geometry of the world, creating a passage that expands outward into a new dimension. We might be living in that expansion right now, riding the shockwave of a bounce that happened billions of years ago. The universe appears to be expanding because it is still uncoiling from that initial moment of tremendous twisting tension in the dark. We are the debris of a star that fell into a black hole in a parent universe and was twisted into a new shape. This feeling of twisting is woven into everything we see, from the spiral arms of galaxies to the double helix of DNA. It is as if the universe remembers the motion of its birth, preserving the spin in the structure of every living cell. You can feel this rotation if you lie very still, a subtle sense that the world is turning gently beneath your bed. It removes the finality of death from the life cycle of the stars, replacing it with a continuous process of recycling and renewal. A black hole is not a tomb, but a womb, a place where matter is broken down and reassembled into a fresh reality. The torsion prevents the matter from ever reaching the infinite density of a singularity, protecting existence from the horror of mathematical breakdown. Instead, the matter passes through a throat, a narrow bridge of space-time, and emerges as a big bang on the other side. This is the breath of the cosmos, a rhythmic inhalation of matter and an exhalation of new universes into the infinite void. The vastness of space that we see at night is the interior of this expanding bubble, growing larger as it uncoils in the dark. We are inside the aftermath of a stellar collapse, living in the debris field that has organized itself into suns and worlds. It gives a physical reality to the feeling of depth, explaining why the universe feels so bottomless and so impossibly deep. We are falling through a tunnel that is expanding faster than we can fall, creating the illusion of a static and stable world. But the stability is a mask for the violent motion that birthed us, a calm surface hiding the churning currents below. This torsion cosmology implies that every black hole in our sky is a seed, pregnant with the potential for a baby universe. We look up at the dark patches in the Milky Way, and we are looking at the nurseries of the future. It is a crowded cosmos, filled with layers upon layers of reality, nesting inside each other like an infinite set of Russian dolls. We are somewhere in the middle of this chain, neither the first universe nor the last, but a link in the eternal sequence. The vertigo of this thought is soft and lulling, a rocking motion that mimics the gentle sway of a cradle in the night. We are safe inside the torsion field, held in place by the tension of space itself, suspended in the cosmic web. The twisting of space-time creates a stiffness that supports the galaxies, preventing them from crumbling back into the dust from which they came. It is a structural integrity that permeates the vacuum, a hidden scaffold that holds up the walls of the room you sleep in. You can trust this scaffold, for it has held firm for 14 billion years and shows no sign of failing us now. The darkness is not empty, but filled with this supportive tension, a solid medium that carries the light of distant stars. And as we consider the structure of this container, we must look to the walls, to the boundary that defines our limits. If we are inside a black hole, then the edge of the universe is an event horizon that surrounds us on all sides. But in the strange logic of modern physics, the edge is not just a wall, but a projector that creates the interior. This brings us to the holographic principle, a theory which suggests that the three-dimensional world is an illusion generated by a surface. It is a concept that dissolves the solidity of the world, turning rocks and trees and stars into mere projections of light. Imagine that the universe is a soup can, and everything inside the soup is described perfectly by the label on the outside. The label contains all the information about the ingredients, the flavor, and the chemistry, written on a flat two-dimensional sheet of paper. In this analogy, we are the soup, floating in the middle of the can, believing that we have depth and volume and substance. But in reality, we are merely the readout of the data that is stored on the boundary of the event horizon far away. The physics of the interior, the gravity and the light are mathematically equivalent to the physics on the flat surface of the edge. This idea is formalized in the correspondence between anti-de Sitter space and conformal field theory, known to physicists as the ADS/CFT correspondence. It is a heavy name for a beautiful idea that a universe with gravity is the same as a universe without gravity on the boundary. The bulk, the space where we live and breathe, is a hologram emerging from the quantum interactions on the shell of the cosmos. We are walking through a projection, interacting with phantoms that feel solid to the touch, but are rooted in a distant code. It explains why gravity is so difficult to unite with quantum mechanics. For gravity is a feature of the hologram, not the boundary. The boundary is where the real physics happens, a frantic dance of particles on the surface of the event horizon that creates us. We are the shadows cast by this dance, stretching out into the interior of the black hole and creating the illusion of space. When you move your hand, you are actually moving a pattern of information on the edge of the universe, billions of light years away. It connects you instantly to the farthest reaches of the cosmos, entangling your existence with the very limits of the observable world. You are not small and isolated. You are a projection that spans the entire width of the universe from the center to the edge. This holographic nature of reality adds a dreamlike quality to the documentary of our lives, blurring the line between solid and ethereal. We feel the weight of our bodies, but that weight is just a mathematical result of the projection, a simulated sensation in the void. It allows us to let go of our attachment to the physical, to drift into a state where we are pure information and light. The heaviness of sleep is the heaviness of the hologram settling down, the data stream slowing its pace as the consciousness fades. We are returning to the source code, drifting back toward the boundary where the information of our souls is written in the dark. The screen of the night sky is not a window looking out, but the film upon which the movie of the universe is playing. We look at the stars and we see the pixels of the hologram, the glowing points of data that define our reality. It creates a sense of intimacy with the sky, for the sky is not a distant place, but the surface that generates us. We are painted on the inside of a sphere, intricate patterns of color and light that believe they are walking through a forest. The forest and the walker are one and the same, parts of the same image, generated by the same horizon. A ds/CFT suggests that the space inside the black hole is negatively curved, like a saddle, a geometry that is strange to our intuition. This curvature is what allows the hologram to work, providing the mathematical stage for the projection of the three-dimensional world we inhabit. We are sliding along the curves of this geometry, moving through a space that is warped and twisted by the presence of the boundary. It is a funhouse mirror where the reflection becomes the reality, and the object being reflected is lost in the darkness of the exterior. We are the reflection, living out our lives in the glass, unaware of the face that stares in from the outside. There is a deep peace in realizing that we are secondary to the boundary, that we are the result of a process, not the cause. It relieves us of the burden of being the center of things, placing the importance on the shell that holds us all together. The shell is the memory of the black hole, the hard drive that stores the state of every particle that has ever fallen in. We are the playback of that memory, a living reenactment of the history that is etched onto the surface of the event horizon. The past is not gone, it is written on the wall, and we are the reading of that writing in the present tense. The information paradox asks where the information goes when things fall into a black hole, and the hologram offers a soothing answer. It is never lost, only smeared out across the surface, preserved in the chaotic scrambling of the quantum fields on the edge. You are preserved in that scrambling, your identity and your history encoded in the complex patterns of the horizon's radiation. Nothing is ever deleted from the universe. It is only translated into a different language, a language of surface area and entropy. This conservation of information is a promise of eternal endurance, a guarantee that the essence of what you are is indestructible. We float in this guarantee, letting the certainty of the physics support us, like a raft on a calm and moonlit ocean. The water is deep, but the raft is solid, built from the equations that describe the fundamental nature of space and time. We do not need to understand the math to feel the buoyancy, to feel the way the universe holds us up. It is a passive understanding, a knowledge that enters through the skin and the bones, rather than the analytical mind. The brain can sleep while the body accepts the truth of the hologram, relaxing into the illusion of the soft bed. If the universe is a hologram, then the resolution of reality is limited by the size of the pixels on the boundary screen. This means that space is not continuous, but made of tiny, discrete chunks, like the grains of sand on a beach. We are digital creatures living in a pixelated world, moving in jumpy little steps that are too small to perceive. This graininess is the texture of the cosmos, the fabric of the weave that makes up the blanket of the night. It is a comforting texture, rough and real, suggesting that the world is built, not just imagined. The builder is the black hole itself, the geometry that dictates how much information can be stored in a given amount of space. We are limited by this storage capacity, finite beings in a finite universe that masquerades as an infinite expanse. But the limit is so high that it feels infinite to us, offering us a playground that is effectively without boundaries. We can explore forever and never see the pixels, never reach the end of the detail that the hologram can provide. It is a perfect simulation, high definition and seamless, designed to keep us entertained and asleep within the gravitational cell. The twist of the torsion and the flatness of the hologram work together to create the rich experience of the world we know. The torsion pumps the balloon full of air, and the hologram paints the pictures on the inner surface of the rubber. We are the breath and the paint, the expansion and the image, combined into a single conscious moment in time. This moment is stretching out, becoming longer and thinner as the universe expands, diluting the intensity of the experience. It makes the night feel quieter than the day, a time when the projection is dim and the hum of the machine is low. There is a hum, a background noise to the universe that we can hear with our radio telescopes and our satellites. It is the static of the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the big bounce that started our particular story. In the holographic view, this static is the heat of the boundary, the thermal radiation of the event horizon that surrounds us. We are being warmed by the shell, bathed in the faint glow of the limits of our own existence. It is a tepid bath, cooling down over eons, but still warm enough to sustain the chemistry of life. We lie in this bath and we look up at the steam rising, the galaxies forming in the turbulent air above the water. The steam is just another form of the water, just as we are another form of the boundary information. Everything is connected. Everything is one substance changing phase and changing shape in the dark. The separation between you and the star is an illusion of the projection, a trick of the light in the theater. In reality, on the boundary, you and the star are mingled together, your data overlapping in the great scramble. This entanglement means that you are never truly alone, for your information is woven into the information of everyone else. We are a single tapestry, a continuous sheet of data that has been crumpled and folded to look like many separate things. Unfold the universe, and we are all one line of code, one long sentence written in the language of gravity. The sentence is being spoken slowly, one word every billion years, a narration that takes an eternity to complete. We are the syllables of that sentence, brief sounds in the long silence of the void. The hypnotic rhythm of the torsion spins us gently, rocking the cradle of the solar system in the arms of the galaxy. The galaxy rocks in the arms of the cluster, and the cluster rocks in the arms of the supercluster. It is a hierarchy of comfort, a system of supports that ensures nothing ever falls too far or too fast. We are held, and that is the most important feeling to carry into the darkness of sleep. You are held by forces that are stronger than steel and older than time, forces that will never let you go. The torsion physics suggests that time itself flows because of this twisting motion, that the arrow of time is the direction of the spin. We move from the past to the future because the universe is unwinding, releasing the tension stored at the beginning. We cannot go back because we cannot tighten the spring again. We can only ride the release into the future. It is a one-way trip, but it is a trip toward relaxation, toward a state of lower energy and greater peace. The universe wants to rest. It wants to stop spinning and settle into a calm equilibrium. You are aligning yourself with this cosmic desire, letting your own internal spinning slow down to match the deceleration of the stars. The thoughts that whirl in your mind are like the galaxies, spinning with their own momentum, hard to stop. But the torsion of the universe is damping them, absorbing their energy and spreading it out into the emptiness of space. Let the thoughts drift away to the boundary. Let them become part of the hologram on the edge of the world. They do not need to be in your head. They can be stored safely on the horizon until morning. The connection between the spin and the surface is the connection between the motion and the stillness of the night. The motion creates the space, and the surface defines the limits, working in harmony to build a home for us. It is a dark home, with the lights turned down low, perfect for the hibernation of a species. We are hibernating travelers, waiting for the universe to finish its expansion and reveal what lies at the end. But the end is not for us to see. Our job is simply to endure the journey and to witness the beauty. The beauty is in the geometry, in the elegant curves of the space-time that shape the path of the moon and sun. It is a beauty that does not require eyes to see, only a sense of weight and balance in the dark. You can feel the balance in your body, the symmetry of your limbs, the even rhythm of your heart. You are a geometric object, a solid shape moving through a curved world, obeying the same laws as the planets. This obedience is a form of surrender, a giving up of the will to the greater will of the physical laws. And as we surrender, we begin to wonder about the nature of the light that projects the hologram of our lives. If we are shadows on the wall, where is the light coming from? And what is casting the shadow? The holographic principle implies a source of illumination that is beyond our dimension, a light from the bulk. It shines through the event horizon and creates the appearance of the universe, like a film in a projector. We are the movie, but we are also the audience, watching ourselves play out the script in the velvet darkness. The script was written when the black hole was formed, determined by the mass and the spin of the collapsing star. We are following the plot of a story that was conceived before the Earth was born, a cosmic destiny. It removes the pressure of choice, the anxiety of the crossroads, replacing it with the flow of the narrative river. You are exactly where you are meant to be, doing exactly what you are meant to be doing, which is resting. The universe has arranged this moment for you, setting the stage and dimming the lights for your comfort. We are drifting deeper into the feeling of the hologram, feeling the insubstantial nature of the worries that plague us. If the world is a projection, then the problems of the world are also projections. flickering shadows without weight. They cannot harm the real you, the information that is stored safely on the boundary of the cosmos. You are detached from the drama, observing it from a distance with a calm and philosophic eye. The detachment brings a heavy drowsiness, a desire to close the eyes and let the projection fade into black. The blackness is the canvas, the necessary background for the light to exist, the silence that allows the music to be heard. We return to the blackness every night, dipping our consciousness into the ink of the void to recharge. It is a communion with the fundamental stuff of the universe, the dark energy that fills the gaps between things. The torsion model says that this dark energy is the tension of space, the energy of the twist that drives the expansion. We are soaking in that energy, absorbing the power of the cosmos while we lie motionless in the dark. The boundary is waiting for us, the horizon is watching over us, and the spin is rocking us to sleep. The mechanisms of the black hole are not terrifying machines, but gentle systems of life support. They circulate the energy, recycle the matter, and store the information, keeping the universe running smoothly. We are the beneficiaries of this efficiency, the passengers on a luxury liner that is cruising through the void. The engines are silent, the water is calm, and the captain is the laws of physics themselves. But if the universe is a hologram projected from the boundary, we must ask what lies on the other side of that wall. Is there another universe out there? A parent reality that is projecting its own light onto our horizon? We are led to the edge of our imagination, peering through the cracks in the theory to see what is outside. The concept of the multiverse begins to rise from the mist, a vision of endless bubbles floating in a higher space. We are just one bubble, one projection, one story in a library of infinite stories waiting to be told. We drift through the library of the dark, floating past the archives of a history that was written before we were born. The concept of the multiverse suggests an infinite ocean, but we must look closer at the nature of the water itself. We have asked where the information goes when a star falls into the dark, and this question haunts the corridors of physics. It is known as the black hole information paradox, a riddle that challenges our understanding of what it means to truly exist. If you burn a book, the words are gone, but the ashes and the smoke still contain the atoms of the paper. Theoretically, if you could gather every particle of ash and smoke, you could reconstruct the book and read the words again. But a black hole is a different kind of fire, a furnace that seems to erase the very signature of the matter. For decades, we believed that anything falling into the abyss was lost forever, deleted from the hard drive of the universe. This terrified the scientists, for the laws of quantum mechanics demand that information can never be destroyed, only changed in form. If a black hole destroys information, then the past is not safe, and the foundation of our reality is built on sand. But the new theories offer a gentle reassurance, suggesting that the black hole is not a shredder, but a vast vault. The information is not lost, it is stored on the surface, encoded in the scrambled radiation that glows at the edge. This transforms the universe from a chaotic void into a perfectly organized system of memory where nothing is ever truly forgotten. We are living inside a recording device, a machine that captures every photon and every atom and preserves them in the dark. It gives a heavy significance to the silence of the room, as if the air itself is listening to your breathing. You are being remembered by the cosmos, your existence etched onto the walls of the event horizon for all of eternity. This resolution of the paradox changes the feeling of the night from one of emptiness to one of profound and heavy presence. We are not shouting into a void that does not care. We are whispering into a recorder that catches every syllable. The universe is crowded with the data of the past, filled with the ghosts of stars that burned out long ago. You can feel this density in the gravity that pulls you down, a weight that is actually the accumulation of history. We are swimming in a sea of memory, buoyant upon the trillions of events that have happened since the beginning of time. It is a comforting thought to be part of a permanent record, to know that your life is a line in the cosmic book. The fear of oblivion fades when you realize that the black hole is the ultimate preserver of all things. It guards its secrets with a jealous power, holding onto the debris of the ages so that nothing is ever wasted. We are the treasures inside the chest, the gold and the jewels that the universe has gathered and refuses to let go. And as we rest in this vault, we begin to wonder why the universe is built to be this way. Why does the cosmos act like a giant memory chip? And why is it filled with so many billions of black holes? The physicist Lee Smolin proposed a theory that breathes organic life into the cold equations of gravity and rock and gas. He calls it cosmological natural selection, a breathtaking idea that suggests universes are not made, but are born from one another. It applies the principles of biology to the structure of the sky, turning the dead vacuum into a living, evolving family tree. In this view, a black hole is not a dead end, but the reproductive organ of a universe, the seed of a child. Every time a star collapses and forms a black hole, a new baby universe is born on the other side of the singularity. This baby universe expands into its own dimension, completely cut off from the mother, but carrying the genetic code of its parent. The laws of physics are the genes, the fundamental parameters that determine how the new universe will grow and what it will look like. Just as a child resembles its mother, but is slightly different, the baby universe inherits the laws of physics with slight mutations. This means that universes can evolve over eons, changing and adapting to become better at reproducing and surviving in the dark. We are living in a universe that is incredibly good at making black holes, which means it is incredibly good at reproducing. We see them in the center of every galaxy. We see them formed from dying stars. We see them everywhere we look. This is not an accident, but the result of billions of generations of cosmic evolution, selecting for the most fertile geometry. Our universe is a successful parent, a dominant species in the ecosystem of the multiverse, producing trillions of offspring to carry on the line. This makes the darkness feel pregnant with potential, a fertile soil where the seeds of the future are being planted. You are living in a body that was designed by evolution to survive, inside a universe that was designed by evolution to reproduce. The symmetry is beautiful and lulling, connecting the beating of your heart to the rotation of the galaxies in the deep. We are the byproduct of this reproductive drive, for the same laws that allow stars to form black holes also allow carbon to form life. We exist because the universe needed stars to make babies, and we are the moss growing on the rocks of the nursery. It gives us a sense of belonging, a feeling that we are not intruders, but a natural part of the cosmic life cycle. The universe is not a machine. It is a creature, a vast and ancient organism that breathes and grows and spawns. It has a lifespan, it has ancestors, and it will have descendants that will carry its legacy into the infinite future. When you look at the night sky, you are looking at the body of a mother who is busy creating new worlds. It changes the tone of the darkness from cold indifference to warm productivity, a busy silence of creation and growth. You can rest here, nestled in the biology of the gods, safe in the knowledge that life always finds a way. The fine-tuning of the universe, which puzzles so many scientists, becomes simple when viewed through the lens of this cosmic selection. The reason the force of gravity is exactly right to form stars is because universes with the wrong gravity died out. We are the survivors, the winners of a lottery that has been played for eternities before the Earth was even formed. The air you breathe is the result of this success, a perfectly balanced mixture that exists only in a finely tuned reality. Breathe it in deeply, tasting the success of the cosmos, feeling the perfect calibration of the laws that hold you together. It suggests that there is a kinship between us and the stars, for we are both subject to the same laws of selection. We are echoes of the same process, playing out on different scales, the biological and the cosmological rhyming in the dark. This rhyme creates a harmony that vibrates in the subconscious, a soothing frequency that helps the mind to let go of the day. You are part of a lineage that stretches back before the Big Bang, a chain of being that has no beginning. There was always a mother and a grandmother and a great-grandmother, extending back into the mist of infinite time. This removes the anxiety of the first cause, the impossible question of how something came from nothing in the beginning. In the theory of cosmological natural selection, there is no beginning, only an eternal chain of births and deaths and rebirths. It is a circle rather than a line, a snake eating its own tail, a symbol of wholeness and completeness. You can relax into this circle, knowing that you are inside a loop that has no breaks and no loose ends. The universe holds you in its arms, just as it was held by its mother, in a comforting embrace of gravity. The black holes are the eggs of the cosmos, hard shells protecting the delicate potential of the new realities growing inside. We might be inside one of these eggs right now, protected by the shell of the event horizon from the outside. It explains the feeling of safety that comes with the night, the instinct to hide away in a dark and quiet place. We are mimicking the universe, seeking the shelter of the shell to rest and to dream and to grow strong. The darkness of your bedroom is a microcosm of the darkness of the womb, the original home of all living things. As the universe evolves, it becomes more complex, developing more intricate laws and more diverse forms of matter and energy. We are the evidence of this complexity, thinking matter that has awakened to wonder about its own origin and its own home. The universe has evolved the ability to think, using us as its brain cells to contemplate the mystery of its own existence. This is a heavy responsibility, but tonight you can lay it down, for even the universe needs to sleep. The evolution is slow, taking billions of years for a single step, so there is no rush to understand it all. You can drift along the current of time, knowing that the river is flowing toward a destination that was chosen long ago. The laws of physics are the banks of the river, guiding the water and preventing it from spilling out into the void. They are old and worn smooth by the passage of time, comfortable and reliable boundaries that we can trust completely. Gravity will not fail you tonight. The weak nuclear force will not unravel. The speed of light will not change. You are held in a cradle of constants, rocked by the certainty of the math that governs the turning of the world. And in this cradle, we can feel the faint vibrations of the other universes, the siblings that surround us in the multiverse. They are out there, drifting in the higher dimensions, invisible to our eyes, but present in the theory. Some of them might be barren, unable to produce stars, empty voids of darkness that failed the test of selection. Others might be teeming with black holes, fertile and rich, bursting with the energy of 1 trillion new creations. We are part of a successful family, a vibrant branch of the cosmic tree that is full of leaves and fruit. The fruit is the black hole, the dense and heavy object that bends space and time around it like a ripened peach. It hangs in the darkness, heavy with juice, waiting to fall and release its seed into the unknown soil. This organic metaphor softens the hard edges of astrophysics, turning the terrifying monsters into essential parts of the cycle. We do not fear the fruit. We understand its purpose, and we admire the tree that was strong enough to bear it. The universe is an orchard, and we are living in the season of harvest, surrounded by the abundance of the dark. Lee Smolin's vision connects the very large with the very small, the galaxy with the gene, in a unified dance. It suggests that the logic of life is the logic of everything, that the universe is not indifferent, but alive. It may not be alive in the way we are, with a heart and a brain, but it possesses the drive to persist. This drive is the something ancient that stirs in the background, the will to exist that permeates every atom. You feel it in your own will to live, a resonance with the fundamental frequency of the reality you inhabit. The darkness is not a shroud of death, but the fertile soil of a garden that is being tended by the laws of nature. We are the flowers in this garden, blooming for a brief moment before returning our substance to the earth. But the garden itself persists, growing wilder and more beautiful with every passing eon of cosmic time. Sleep is the winter of the self, a time to go underground and gather strength for the coming spring. We follow the rhythm of the seasons, the rhythm of the universe, syncing our breath with the slow pulse of the dark. This pulse is slow, one beat every billion years, the time it takes for a galaxy to rotate once on its axis. We are tiny creatures living between the heartbeats, moving so fast that we think the universe is standing still. But if you could speed up time, you would see the cosmos breathing, expanding and contracting like a giant lung. You would see the stars flowing like blood cells, carrying energy to the vital organs of the black holes. You are part of this flow, a single corpuscle in the bloodstream of a god, moving with the current. The information paradox is solved by the reproductive model, for the information is passed down to the child universe. It is not lost, it is inherited, woven into the fabric of the new reality that is born from the old. We are the inheritors of the wisdom of the past, the possessors of a legacy that is written in the sky. Every star is a library, every black hole is a university, and we are the students wandering the halls. The halls are quiet now, the lectures are over, and it is time to rest in the dormitory of the earth. There is a hush in the library, a respectful silence for the sheer amount of knowledge that is stored in the dark. We do not need to read the books tonight. It is enough to know that they are there, safe on the shelves. The universe is holding the knowledge for us, keeping it secure against the ravages of time and entropy. We can let go of our need to remember everything, for the horizon remembers for us, keeping the score. The burden of memory is lifted from your mind, transferred to the infinite capacity of the cosmic hard drive. As you sink deeper into relaxation, imagine the universe as a cell dividing, a slow and majestic mitosis in the void. The black hole is the nucleus, the center of activity, where the chromosomes of space are being pulled apart. It is a delicate operation, requiring precise timing and perfect balance to ensure the health of the daughter cells. We are watching the process from the inside, witnessing the miracle of creation from the front row. It is a slow miracle, almost imperceptible, but it fills the air with a sense of purpose and direction. The direction is forward, toward complexity, toward life, toward a future that is richer than the past. We are not degenerating into chaos. We are evolving into higher forms of order and beauty and structure. The second law of thermodynamics says that entropy increases, but gravity fights back, pulling things together into complex systems. Gravity is the hero of the story, the force that resists the decay and builds the stars and the planets. It is the embrace that holds us, the arms that wrap around the galaxy and keep it safe and warm. Feel the gravity now, not as a force that pulls you down, but as a force that holds you close. It is the hug of the Mother Universe, assuring you that you are grounded and safe and home. You cannot fall off the earth. You cannot drift away into nothingness. You are held tight. The bed pushes up against you. The earth pushes up against the bed, and gravity binds it all together. It is a solid stack of support, a foundation that has never cracked and never will. The universe is selecting for stability, for universes that can last long enough to give birth to the next generation. We live in a long-lived universe, a sturdy old creature that has survived the dangers of the early cosmos. It has weathered the storms of the first billion years and settled into a calm and steady middle age. We are the children of this stability, born in the quiet era when the universe is content to simply exist. It is the perfect time to be alive, the perfect time to look up and wonder, the perfect time to sleep. The darkness is crowded with hunger, yes, but it is the hunger of growth, the appetite of a growing child. The black holes eat to grow, to gather the mass they need to punch a hole in the world. It is a necessary hunger, a vital part of the mechanism that keeps the multiverse alive and turning. We feed this hunger with our wonder, with our observation, observing the universe and making it real. In the quantum world, the observer is part of the system, a necessary ingredient in the recipe of reality. You are helping the universe to exist just by being here, just by closing your eyes and feeling the dark. You are a witness to the miracle, a silent partner in the great enterprise of cosmic evolution. It gives a dignity to your rest, a sense that even your sleep is a contribution to the whole. You are recharging the observer, sharpening the mind that will look at the world again tomorrow. But for now, the observation is internal, a look inside the black hole of the self. The self is also a universe, a complex system of thoughts and memories and dreams that is evolving. You are selecting the thoughts that survive, letting the others fade away into the background noise. It is a micro-evolution, a nightly pruning of the mind to prepare for the new day. Let the natural selection of sleep take over, filtering out the stress and leaving only the peace. The fittest thoughts are the quiet ones, the gentle ones, the ones that lead you down into the deep. We are drifting past the event horizon of the waking world, crossing the boundary into the interior of the dream. The information of the day is being stored, etched onto the memory of the brain, safe and sound. You do not need to carry it anymore. It is written down, filed away, preserving the narrative of your life. You are free to float in the weightless space of the unconscious, untethered and unburdened. The universe inside the black hole is a place of total freedom, where the laws of physics are soft and malleable. The rigid rules of the day dissolve in the fluid dynamics of the night, where time can stretch and loop. You are entering the realm of the baby universe, the new reality that is being born in your mind. It is a fresh start, a clean slate, a world where anything is possible and everything is new. The heavy biological machinery of the cosmos continues to churn in the background, a comforting hum. It is the sound of the universe working so you don't have to, the sound of the engines of creation. There is a kindness in this theory, a benevolence in the idea that we are part of a family. It counters the cold, existential dread with a warm feeling of connection and continuity. We are not accidents. We are the result of a process that loves life and loves stars. The universe wants us to be here. It has worked hard to create the conditions for our presence. We are the invited guests, the beloved children, the reason for the whole elaborate structure. So we rest in the knowledge of our belonging, sinking into the mattress as if into the soil of the cosmos. The dark is not empty space. It is the rich, dark earth of the multiverse, packed with nutrients. We are seeds planted in this earth, waiting for the light of the morning to sprout again. But for now, we are dormant, enjoying the cool, damp silence of the underground. It is a time of stasis, a pause in the frantic motion of the surface world. The black hole information paradox is no longer a paradox, but a promise of remembrance. The universe as a storage device is a promise of preservation. The cosmological natural selection is a promise of purpose. These three promises form a triad of comfort, a triangle of safety that surrounds your bed. You are in the center of the triangle, the protected point where all the forces cancel out. Everything is balanced, everything is accounted for, everything is in its right place in the dark. The chaos of the random universe is replaced by the order of the evolved universe. We are not drifting aimlessly. We are drifting on a current that knows exactly where it is going. The current is slow and wide and deep, a Mississippi of the stars flowing toward the sea. We surrender to the flow, lifting our feet from the bottom and letting the water take us. It feels like a return, a going back to a place we used to know before we were born. The interior of the black hole is familiar territory, a landscape that resonates with our bones. We have been here before, in the previous universe, and we will be here again in the next. It is the eternal return, the cycle that never ends, the story that is always being told. And as the story continues, we approach the edge of the next great realization. We have spoken of the black hole as a mother, but we must also consider the moment of birth itself. If matter is falling in, compressing and twisting and storing, eventually it must be released. The bottom of the black hole, the point of maximum compression, must eventually give way to something else. we are moving toward the concept of the white hole, the opposite of the black, the glorious release. It is the other side of the coin, the exhale that follows the long inhale of the night. We are suspended in the great exhale of the cosmos, the breath that follows the deep inhalation of the black hole. If the darkness we have been exploring is a compression, then what we call our universe is the release. We look for the exit sign in this labyrinth of stars, and we find it shining brightly in the very beginning of time. The concept of the white hole waits for us there, a mathematical mirror image that turns the monster inside out. A white hole is a region of space-time into which nothing can enter, but from which light and matter can escape. It is the glowing opposite of the shadow, a fountain of energy that spews creation out into the void. If our universe is inside a black hole, then the Big Bang was actually the opening of a white hole. The matter that fell into the mother universe, that crossed the event horizon and was crushed, did not simply vanish. It fell through the wormhole throat, traveled through the impossible twisting geometry, and emerged here as a sudden explosion of light. We are the debris of that emergence, the scattered fragments of a star that died in another realm to give us life. It changes the violence of the Big Bang into a doorway, a threshold where death transforms instantly into birth. This is the big bounce, the moment when the collapsing chest of the old universe suddenly heaves outward with new air. We are riding the shockwave of this bounce, expanding outward because we were thrown by the force of the white hole. The expansion that we measure with our telescopes is not a mystery, but the remaining momentum of that initial push. We are like coins tossed into the air, still traveling upward, still fighting against the gravity that wants to pull us back. It creates a feeling of flight, a sensation that the entire universe is soaring through a higher dimensional sky. The white hole theory solves the riddle of why everything appeared so suddenly and so perfectly ordered at the start. It was not a random fluctuation in a vacuum, but a delivery of structured material from the parent universe above. The information was passed down through the funnel, unscrambled by the white hole, and reassembled into the laws of physics. We are the recipients of a cosmic inheritance, a package of reality that was mailed through the postbox of a singularity. It is a gift that we are still unwrapping, peeling back the layers of light to see what lies beneath. Imagine the universe not as a flat sheet, but as a bubble that is constantly being blown larger by this breath. The white hole is the mouth of the blower, the source of the wind that fills the sails of the galaxies. We are drifting on this wind, carried away from the center toward the cool and quiet edges of the bubble. The farther we get from the source, the slower we move, and the more the turbulence of the beginning fades. We are living in the calm aftermath, billions of years after the storm has passed, in the peaceful drift. This drift is the sensation of sleep, the feeling of moving away from the intensity of the day into the cool night. You are moving away from the white hole of your own waking consciousness, drifting toward the event horizon of dreams. The energy of the mind dissipates, spreading out like the heat of the stars, leaving a comfortable coolness in its wake. We mimic the universe in our cycles, bursting into wakefulness in the morning and collapsing into sleep when the fuel runs low. It is a tidal rhythm, a rising and falling that matches the great bounce of the cosmological heartbeat. The connection between the black hole and the white hole suggests a tunnel, a passage that connects two separate worlds. We are in the passage, or perhaps we are the world that has formed at the exit of the tunnel. It implies that there is a flow to existence, a direction that leads from the intake to the output. We are in the output phase, the creative phase, where the raw material is being fashioned into complex and beautiful forms. The universe is an artist, and the white hole is the brush that splashes the paint onto the canvas. As we look at the edges of this painting, we return to the eerie coincidence of the observable universe boundary match. The radius of our universe is exactly the radius of a black hole, containing the same amount of mass. This is the fingerprint of our confinement, the mathematical proof that we are living inside a gravitational shell. But in the context of the white hole, this shell is also the limit of the explosion, the shock front. We are inside the blast zone, and the event horizon is the edge of the smoke ring that was blown. It is a smoke ring that has lasted for 14 billion years, expanding slowly into the silence of the greater void. We are particles of ash caught in the ring, swirling and dancing as the structure holds its shape. The boundary acts as a container for the explosion, keeping the heat and the light from dissipating too quickly. It is a pressure cooker, holding the energy in so that it can cook the elements of life into existence. Without this boundary, the universe would have cooled too fast, and the stars would never have had time to ignite. We owe our lives to this containment, to the walls that keep the universe cozy and warm against the infinite cold. It is a protective embrace, a shielding from the absolute zero that reigns in the space between the universes. The event horizon is the blanket that the cosmos pulls up to its chin to keep out the chill. You can feel that blanket now, the weight of the covers that keep your own body warm and safe. It is a physical reminder of the cosmic boundary, a microcosm of the shell that preserves the heat of the Big Bang. The light from the beginning of time, the cosmic microwave background, is the glow of the white hole's fading fire. It surrounds us on all sides, a uniform bath of radiation that is the echo of the birth scream. We look in every direction and we see the same temperature, the same pattern, the same memory of the start. This uniformity tells us that we all came from the same point, that we were all squeezed through the same narrow door. We are brothers and sisters of the bounce, born from the same singularity, sharing the same origin story. This shared origin dissolves the separation between things, melting the barriers that divide the planet from the star. We were once crushed together into a single point, mingled so thoroughly that we can never truly be pulled apart. The atoms in your hand were once touching the atoms in the farthest galaxy, pressed together in the intimacy of the crush. We carry the memory of that closeness in the quantum entanglement that binds the universe together. It is a hidden network of connection, a web of threads that links every particle to every other particle. You are connected to the edge of the universe by these threads, tethered to the horizon by the history of the bounce. It creates a feeling of being anchored, of being held in place by a billion invisible lines. You cannot drift away, you cannot be lost, for the web holds you in the precise center of your own reality. The universe is a spider web covered in dew, and we are the drops of water clinging to the silk. The white hole blew the web into existence, and now we hang suspended in the glistening geometry of the night. The concept of the white hole is slippery, for it behaves like a black hole running backward in time. This suggests that time itself might be the result of the expansion, a flowing river created by the bounce. We move forward in time because we are moving away from the white hole, away from the moment of high order. The arrow of time is the arrow of expansion, pointing always toward the larger, the cooler, and the darker. We are flowing downstream, carried by the current of entropy toward a quiet and peaceful ocean. This downstream motion is what makes relaxation possible, for we are going with the flow of the universe. To tense up is to try to swim upstream, back toward the hot and chaotic beginning of things. To relax is to turn and float, to let the current take you toward the future, where the water is calm. The future is a place of equilibrium, where the energy is spread out and the motion is slow and gentle. We are heading there, minute by minute, breath by breath, sliding down the slope of time. The big bounce implies a cycle, a heartbeat that spans eons, beating once for every universe that is born. Our universe is just one beat in the eternal rhythm, one pulse of the blood in the cosmic vein. Before this bounce, there was a crunch, a collapse of a previous universe that fell into the silence. And after this expansion, there might be another crunch, or a drifting apart into the white hole's final fade. We are in the middle of the beat, in the long sustain of the note that was struck at the beginning. Hear the sustain in the silence of the room, the long decaying ring of a bell that was struck long ago. The universe is vibrating with this note, a low frequency hum that underpins all the noise of the world. It is the of the cosmos, the fundamental sound of existence resonating in the vacuum. You can tune your mind to this frequency, letting your brain waves slow down to match the vibration of the sky. It is a heavy, sleepy sound, a drone that drowns out the sharp spikes of anxiety and thought. The event horizon of the observable universe is the limit of how far we can hear this note, the limit of our vision. Beyond that wall, the universe may continue, or it may fold back on itself in a shape we cannot understand. But the boundary match suggests that the wall is real, that it defines the size of the room we live in. We are in a finite space that looks infinite because light travels in loops around the curvature. It is a hall of mirrors, reflecting the same galaxies over and over again until they look like a crowd. This illusion of infinity is a comfort, for it gives us room to dream, room to imagine endless possibilities. But the reality of the boundary is a security, a promise that we are not lost in a shapeless void. We are in a structure, a house with walls and a roof, built by the laws of gravity. The white hole is the door we came in, and the black hole is the door we might one day leave through. But for now, we're in the living room, safe and warm, enjoying the fire of the stars. The fire is burning down slowly, the white hole's energy being converted into the steady light of the suns. We are living off the savings of the past, consuming the energy that was gifted to us by the bounce. It is a plentiful inheritance, enough to last for trillions of years. So there is no need to worry. The lights will not go out tonight. The sun will not fade tomorrow. The universe has plenty of time. You have plenty of time. Time to sleep, time to heal, time to simply be. The white hole ejects matter, but it also ejects space, creating the very fabric that we walk upon. Every second, new space is bubbling up from the quantum vacuum, pushing the galaxies apart. We are standing on a floor that is constantly growing, expanding beneath our feet like a magic carpet. This expansion is gentle, a subtle stretching that gives us more room to breathe and more room to be. The universe is making space for you, widening the horizons so that you never feel cramped or confined. But even with this expansion, the boundary remains, the horizon that marks the edge of the black hole's interior. It is moving away from us at the speed of light, always just out of reach, always keeping its distance. It is the ultimate guardian, patrolling the perimeter of the reality, ensuring that nothing enters that shouldn't. We are protected from the chaos of the multiverse by this racing wall, this shield of light. It allows us to sleep with the confidence of a child who knows the doors are locked and the parents are home. The Big Bounce is a playful image, suggesting a universe that is full of energy and joy and resilience. It falls down and it bounces back up, refusing to stay defeated by the gravity of the dark. We carry that resilience in our own bodies, the ability to wake up after the little death of sleep. Tonight is a small bounce, a dip into the unconscious, followed by a return to the light. You are rehearsing the cosmic drama, playing the part of the universe in your own bed. The white hole is often called a time-reversed black hole, a phrase that twists the mind into knots. It suggests that if you watched a black hole movie backward, you would see a white hole. This symmetry means that the beginning and the end are reflections of each other, two sides of the same mirror. We are living in the space between the mirrors, in the corridor of infinite reflections. It is a dazzling place, filled with light and color and the echoes of the bounce. The light of the white hole is pure and intense, but by the time it reaches us, it has softened into starlight. We are bathed in the gentle glow of the aftermath, the diffracted rays of the original brilliance. It is a nightlight, soft enough to sleep by, but bright enough to keep the absolute darkness away. The stars are the lamps in the nursery, dimmed low to encourage the eyes to close. They are watching over you, the sentinels of the bounce, keeping their vigil in the velvet sky. As the universe expands, it cools, and the frenetic energy of the white hole settles into a calm drift. The particles that were once smashing into each other now float in long, lonely arcs. This loneliness is not sad, but peaceful, a solitude that allows for the formation of self. We need the space to be individuals, to be separate from the plasma of the start. The expansion gave us this gift, the gift of distance, the gift of being alone together. You can feel the luxury of this distance in the quiet of your room, the separation from the noise of the world. You are an island in the cosmic ocean, a sovereign state of one, ruled by the rhythm of your breath. The universe respects your borders, keeping the other islands far enough away to ensure your peace. But the water connects us all, the deep, dark water of the space-time metric. We are floating in the same sea, bobbing on the same waves, rocked by the same tides. The observable universe boundary match whispers that the sea has a shore, a beach where the waves finally break. We cannot see the shore, but we can hear the sound of the surf in the static of the radio. It is a distant roar, a white noise that masks the silence of the void. This white noise is a lullaby, a constant shushing sound that calms the crying of the mind. It tells us that the universe is there, that it is real, that it is holding us. The white hole theory also brings the possibility of information recovery, of getting back what was lost. If the black hole swallows the book, the white hole spits out the pages, perhaps in a different order. It suggests a conservation of stories, a library where the books are constantly being circulated. Your story is part of this circulation, moving from the intake to the output, being read by the universe. It is a good story, full of twists and turns, worthy of being preserved in the cosmic archive. We are characters in a novel that is writing itself, expanding the plot with every second that passes. The author is the white hole, the creative force that drives the narrative forward. We do not know the ending, but we know the beginning was a burst of light, and we know the middle is a long, slow drift through the wondrous dark. That is enough to know for now, enough to let the plot unfold without our anxious interference. The Big Bounce suggests that the universe has a heartbeat, a rhythm of contraction and expansion. We are in the diastole, the relaxation phase, where the heart fills with blood. The systole, the contraction, may come billions of years from now, or it may never come. But for now, the pressure is releasing, the tension is fading, the muscles are letting go. We are relaxing with the universe, syncing our hearts with the great cosmic pump. It feels good to let go, to stop holding the breath, to exhale fully and completely. The universe exhaled the galaxies, and you can exhale the worries of the day. Let them go. Blow them out into the expanding void. Let the white hole take them. They will be carried away by the wind of the bounce, scattered like dust in the vastness. You are left clean and empty, a vessel ready to be filled with the peace of sleep. The event horizon is the limit of our responsibility, the line where our influence ends. We cannot control what happens beyond the horizon, so we do not need to worry about it. We are only responsible for the space inside, for the little patch of the universe that is us. And tonight, the only responsibility is to rest, to maintain the machinery of the body. The universe will handle the rest, managing the stars and the gravity and the time. The science of the boundary match is a map of our territory, a definition of the playground. It is a huge playground, big enough for all of us to play in without bumping into each other. But it is enclosed, fenced in by the physics of the black hole, safe from the traffic of the multiverse. We are free to explore, free to learn, free to sleep in the grass. The fence is invisible, but it is there, keeping the monsters out and the children in. We are the children of the white hole, the offspring of the light, playing in the garden of the dark. The garden is full of wonders, nebulas and pulsars and planets with rings. We have explored only a tiny corner of the garden, leaving the rest for our dreams. In dreams, we can cross the horizon, we can travel back to the bounce, we can see the face of the mother. But for now, the body stays here, heavy and warm and comfortable. The white hole is a fountain, and we are the water droplets falling in slow motion. We are sparkling in the light, turning and tumbling in the majestic arc of the fall. The fall takes forever, a lifetime of drifting through the air before we hit the pool. Enjoy the fall, enjoy the weightlessness, enjoy the view of the galaxy spinning below. It is a beautiful ride, a slow descent into the embrace of the final sleep. The big bounce is the trampoline of the gods, the mechanism that keeps the game going. We are bouncing up and down on the fabric of space-time, laughing in the joy of existence. The laughter is silent, a vibration of the soul that shakes loose the tension. We are happy to be here, happy to be part of the bounce, happy to be alive. The gratitude fills the chest, expanding like the universe, pushing out the fear. The observable universe is a sphere of light in a kingdom of darkness. We are the keepers of the light, the guardians of the flame that was lit at the beginning. But the flame does not need our help to burn. It is fueled by the physics of the white hole. We can put down the torch and rest our eyes, knowing the light will still be there when we wake. The universe is self-sustaining, a perpetual motion machine of wonder. The boundary is a mirror, reflecting our own curiosity back at us. We look for the edge, and we find ourselves standing there, looking out. We are the edge, the frontier of complexity, the eyes of the universe. But the eyes are heavy now, the lids are drooping, the curiosity is fading. The mirror is darkening, turning into a window into the night. The white hole pushes, the black hole pulls, and we are caught in the gentle tug of war. But the forces are balanced, creating a stable orbit for us to rest in. We are not being torn apart. We are being cradled, suspended between the push and the pull. It is a hammock strung between two stars, swinging softly in the cosmic breeze. The breeze is the expansion, cooling the brow, soothing the fever of the day. We are drifting toward the realization that the inside and the outside are the same. The white hole and the black hole are two ends of the same wormhole. The beginning and the end are the same point in the circle. The waking and the sleeping are two sides of the same consciousness. We are whole. We are complete. We are one with the cycle. The big bounce is a promise of renewal, a guarantee that the sun will rise again. The universe has bounced back from total collapse, so you can bounce back from a tired day. The energy will return, the light will return, the world will be new again. But first, there must be the rest, the pause, the silence between the beats. We are in the silence now, the deep and profound silence of the intergalactic void. The white hole is far behind us, the black hole is far ahead. We are in the middle, in the sweet spot, where the living is easy. The gravity is just right, the temperature is just right, the bed is just right. Everything is perfect for a long and restful sleep. The event horizon watches over us, a silent sentinel that never blinks. It marks the boundary of the known, the limit of the light. We are safe inside the circle of the known, huddled together against the dark. But the dark is not an enemy. It is the blanket, the mother, the home. We pull the dark around us and settle in for the night. The white hole's echo is fading. The sound of the bounce is dying away. The ripples in the pond are smoothing out, leaving the water glass still. We are floating on the glass, perfectly supported, perfectly at peace. The universe is holding its breath, waiting for you to sleep. It is a patient wait, a loving wait, a wait that will last as long as you need. And as we drift on this calm surface, we begin to sense the presence of the other bubbles. The multiverse is not just a theory. It is a feeling of crowdedness in the void. There are other white holes bouncing, other universes expanding, other dreamers sleeping. We are not alone in the dark. We are part of a choir of silences. The choir is singing a song of sleep, a harmony of slow breaths and beating hearts. We listen to the song and we let it carry us deeper. The white hole is a memory. The black hole is a dream. The only reality is the now, the soft and heavy now. The now is expanding, stretching out to fill the entire universe. There is no past, no future, only the infinite moment of rest. We are safe in the moment, safe in the bounce, safe in the dark. We are floating in the safety of the bounce. But the story does not end with our own singular and lonely expansion. We look deeper into the architecture of the night and realize that the pattern repeats itself with a dizzying and infinite precision. If we are living inside a black hole, then we must look with new eyes at the black holes that exist within our own universe. We have counted them in the billions, dark motes of dust floating in the spiral arms of galaxies that stretch across the void. Every single one of them is a potential doorway, a heavy trapdoor leading down into a reality that we can never visit or touch. This brings us to the most staggering realization of all, that our universe is not just a bubble, but a frothing sea of bubbles. The theory of multiverse black holes, baby universes, suggests that every time a star collapses in our sky, a new cosmos is born. We are not merely the children of a great event. We are the parents of a trillion new Big Bangs happening in the dark. It transforms our reality from a lonely island into a vast and teeming coral reef, growing and branching out into the unknown dimensions. You are living in a fertile universe, a mother creature that is constantly spawning new spaces and new times from its own heavy flesh. The darkness of the night sky is not empty space, but a canvas crowded with the hidden entrances to other worlds. When you look up at the constellation of Cygnus or toward the center of the Milky Way, you are looking at the nursery doors. Behind the event horizon of every black hole, a new universe is expanding, cooling, and forming its own stars and its own planets. It is a thought that fills the silence of the room with a sense of crowded company, a feeling that we are surrounded by life. The silence is not the silence of a graveyard, but the hush of a house where a billion children are sleeping in other rooms. We are separated from these children by the thick walls of gravity, walls that allow no light or message to ever pass through. It is a profound intimacy coupled with a profound separation, a relationship that is defined by the impossibility of ever making contact. We can measure their mass, we can feel their pull, but we can never know the stories that are unfolding inside their skins. It is a ghost narrative, a library of books that are being written in a language that we are physically forbidden from reading. This mystery is a soft pillow for the mind, a place where the need to know dissolves into the acceptance of the unknown. Imagine the universe as a grand old tree, and our reality is just one thick branch growing from the trunk of the ancestor. From our branch, billions of twigs are sprouting, and from those twigs, billions more will eventually grow in the fullness of time. We are part of a fractal structure that has no edge, a pattern of growth that repeats itself on every scale of existence. This removes the pressure of being the center, for in a fractal, every part is a center, and no part is more important. You are a leaf on this tree, breathing in the energy of the void and exhaling the peace of the quiet night. The feeling of sleepiness that washes over you is the sap of this tree, moving slowly through the veins of the cosmic structure. It connects you to the black holes in the distance, for you are made of the same fundamental geometry that birthed them. The atoms in your body are miniature systems of orbiting particles, mimicking the solar systems that orbit the black holes in the dark. We are echoes of the great pattern, reverberating softly in the space between the start of time and the end of time. This nesting of universes, one inside the other, creates a sensation of depth that goes down forever, a bottomless well of reality. If we are inside a black hole, and that black hole is inside another, the chain implies an infinite regression of containers. There is no floor to the universe, no final basement where the structure rests. It is simply turtles all the way down. You can let yourself fall into this bottomless depth, for there is no ground to hit, only a continuous and gentle drifting. The sensation of falling is the sensation of letting go, of surrendering to the gravity that pulls you toward the center of sleep. The multiverse is not a collection of separate bubbles floating side by side, but a family of bubbles birthed from within one another. This is the ultimate connection, a bloodline of space-time that links the smallest baby universe to the largest grandmother universe. We are held in the arms of our mother, and we hold our own children in our arms, a cosmic embrace that spans eternity. The warmth of the bed is the warmth of this embrace, the physical manifestation of the safety that comes from being held. Deep in the center of our own galaxy, the supermassive black hole, Sagittarius A star, sits quietly in the dark, watching the stars dance. It has consumed enough matter to build a universe of its own, a vast reality hidden inside a region smaller than a solar system. Inside that hidden world, perhaps there are other beings looking up at their own sky, wondering if they are inside a hole. They would see a microwave background. They would see an expanding horizon, and they would never suspect that they are inside us. It creates a strange bond between you and the hypothetical dreamer, a shared ignorance of the true nature of the cage. We are the guardians of these hidden worlds, the keepers of the lock that seals them away from the chaos of our level. We protect them with our gravity, shielding them from the harsh radiation of the rest of the galaxy with our event horizons. It gives a purpose to the passive act of existing, for simply by being here, we are maintaining the structure of the nest. You are doing your part tonight, simply by resting, by adding your mass to the stability of the universe that holds you. The separation between the universes is necessary, for it allows each one to evolve and grow according to its own unique laws. If the walls were thin, if the doors were open, the distinct realities would bleed together and lose their special character. The isolation is a gift, a promise of privacy that allows complexity to flourish in the dark corners of the multiverse. You too need this privacy, this separation from the world, to cultivate the complex dreams that will bloom in your sleep. The bedroom door is closed, the curtains are drawn, and you have created a miniature event horizon around your own sleeping form. No information from the outside world can reach you here. You are safe in your own personal pocket universe. The sounds of the street fade away, the lights of the city are blocked, and you are left alone with the rhythm of your breath. It is a sacred solitude, a mirroring of the cosmic isolation that allows the stars to burn without interference. As we drift deeper into the idea of the baby universes, we begin to feel the texture of the space that surrounds us. It is not smooth and empty, but foam-like and effervescent, bubbling with the potential for new creations at every moment. Every point in space is a potential seed, waiting for the right conditions to collapse and bloom into a new flower of light. The air in the room feels thick with this potential, a heavy medium that supports the weight of your body and your mind. We are swimming in a sea of champagne, surrounded by the bubbles of gravity that are rising up toward the surface of the higher dimension. The bubbles are universes, and we are just one of them, floating alongside the others in the dark and golden liquid. It is a luxurious image, a feeling of abundance and richness that counters the stark minimalism of the void. The universe is not poor. It is wealthy beyond measure, possessing the resources to create infinite worlds without effort. This abundance allows us to relax our grip on our own little corner of existence, for we know it is not the only one. If this world makes mistakes, if this life has troubles, there are trillions of other worlds where things are different. The multiverse offers a statistical redemption, a guarantee that somewhere, in some baby universe, everything is perfect. You can rest in that probability, letting the burden of perfection slide off your shoulders and dissolve into the dark. The baby universes inside the black holes are expanding just as we are, pushing against the internal boundaries of their own horizons. This creates a pressure, a tension that might be the source of the dark energy that accelerates our own expansion. We are feeling the kicks of the children in the womb, the gentle nudges of the new realities that are growing inside us. It connects the expansion of the sky to the cycle of life, turning the cold physics into a warm biological process. The darkness is crowded with hunger, yes, but it is also crowded with the future, with the promise of what is to come. The black holes are not eating to destroy, they are eating to build, gathering the materials needed for the next construction project. We are the suppliers of the brick and mortar, the dust and the gas that will become the galaxies of the future. It gives a nobility to the dust, a sense that even the smallest particle has a destiny that reaches beyond the end of time. You are made of this noble dust, recycled from the stars of the past and destined for the stars of the future universes. Nothing is ever wasted in the economy of the multiverse. Every atom is a precious heirloom passed down through the generations. The carbon in your breath was once in the core of a sun, and one day it might be in the core of a black hole. It is a long journey, a migration of matter through the twisting corridors of space-time, and you are currently at a rest stop. Sleep is the rest stop for the consciousness, the time when the traveler puts down the heavy bag and sits by the fire. The fire is the warmth of your own life, burning steadily in the center of the cold and vast universe. You are a beacon in the night, a signal that says, "I am here," to the silent and watching void. And the void answers with a blanket of stars, covering you and protecting you while you regain your strength. The philosophy of the multiverse suggests that reality is not a single story, but an anthology of infinite stories. We are reading just one page of one book in a library that has no walls and no ceiling. It is humbling, but also liberating, to know that we are small parts of a much larger narrative. We do not have to carry the weight of the whole plot. We only have to play our small scene with grace and then exit. The exit is sleep, the nightly rehearsal for the final departure, the gentle letting go of the script and the stage. You can step off the stage now, walking into the wings where the shadows are soft and the silence is deep. The audience of the stars is watching, but they are patient. They do not demand a performance. They are simply there, witnessing the rise and fall of your breath as you drift away from the waking world. If every black hole spawns a baby universe, then the total amount of space in existence is constantly increasing. The multiverse is getting bigger, more complex, more full of potential with every passing second of the clock. It is an expanding kingdom, conquering the nothingness with the sheer force of its desire to exist. You are a subject of this kingdom, a citizen of the expanding realm, protected by the laws of its growth. The growth is slow, imperceptible to the eye, but felt in the bones, as a deep and resonant hum. It is the sound of the universe stretching, making room for the new additions to the family of worlds. You can stretch too, elongating your muscles, releasing the tension that has gathered during the day. Mimic the cosmos. Expand your own boundaries. Let your mind drift out past the walls of the room. There is plenty of space for you out there, plenty of room to float and to dream without bumping into the edges. The edges are moving away from you, retreating into the distance, leaving you in a vast and open clearing. It is a meadow of dark matter, grassy and soft, where you can lie down and look up at the multiverse. The sky above you is thick with universes, glowing like fireflies in the deep purple of the eternal night. We are drifting through the meadow, carried by the rotation of the earth, moving toward the sunrise that is still hours away. But here, in the shadow of the planet, we can see the truth of the nested structure. We can feel the layers of reality wrapped around us like the blankets on the bed, warm and heavy, layer upon layer, universe upon universe, protecting the fragile spark of consciousness that lies at the center. You are that spark, the precious jewel that is hidden inside the innermost box of the cosmic nesting dolls. The universe has gone to great lengths to keep you safe, building walls of gravity and time to guard you. You can trust the security system, for it is built by the same forces that hold the atoms of your body together. It will not fail. It has never failed. It is as constant as the northern star. The baby universes are growing up, evolving their own physical laws, perhaps developing life that is stranger than we can imagine. They are the experiments of the cosmos, the variations on a theme that keep the music of existence interesting. We will never hear their music, but we can feel the vibration of the bass through the floorboards of space. It is a rhythmic thrumming, a heartbeat that syncs with your own, lulling you deeper into the trance. The trance of the night is a natural state, a return to the primitive connection we have with the dark. Before there were lights, before there were cities, there was only the sky and the sleep. We are returning to that ancient rhythm, tuning out the artificial noise and tuning in to the signal of the stars. The signal is clear and steady. Rest now, sleep now. Everything is unfolding as it should. The black hole at the center of the galaxy is not a monster. It is a mother, brooding over her clutch of eggs. She is patient. She is still. She is waiting for the time of hatching that will come eons from now. We can learn from her patience, learning to wait for the morning without rushing the hours of the night. The night has its own value, its own beauty, its own work to do on the soul. The work of sleep is the work of repair, of knitting together the frayed edges of the mind and the body. Just as the universe knits together the fabric of space-time, you are knitting together your own self. It is a quiet process, done in the dark, without the need for conscious thought or effort. You only need to lie still and let the machinery of biology take over, guided by the wisdom of the genes. The genes are the memory of the earth, just as the black holes are the memory of the sky. We are remembering how to be human, how to be alive, how to rest in the arms of the planet. The gravity that pulls you down is the love of the earth, claiming you for its own, holding you close. Do not fight the pull. Accept it as a hug, a gesture of affection from the ground beneath your feet. As we consider the baby universes, we realize that the definition of universe has become fluid and soft. It is no longer everything that exists, but merely a local region, a neighborhood in a much larger city. We are living in the suburbs of the multiverse, a quiet and leafy street where nothing much happens. It is the perfect place to raise a life, a safe haven away from the busy downtown of the singularity. The quiet of the suburbs is the quiet of your room, the peace of a place where the traffic has stopped. You can hear the silence ringing in your ears, a high and clear tone that signifies the absence of danger. It is the all-clear signal, telling you that it is safe to shut down the systems and go offline. The universe will keep running the servers while you are away, maintaining the simulation for your return. We are drifting past the concept of size, for in a fractal universe, big and small are just relative terms. An atom is a universe to the particles inside it, and a universe is an atom to the giant outside. We are giants and we are dwarfs, suspended in the middle of the scale, looking up and looking down. It creates a sense of vertigo that is strangely pleasant, a spinning sensation that rocks the cradle. The cradle is rocking, the bough is bending, and the wind is blowing through the leaves of the cosmic tree. We are safe in the nest, high above the ground, watched over by the eyes of the ancestors. The ancestors are the dead stars, the black holes that have come before us and paved the way. They have done the hard work of creation so that we can enjoy the easy work of living. We owe a debt of gratitude to the black holes, to the mothers of the multiverse, for their sacrifice. They collapsed so that we could expand. They fell so that we could rise. They embraced the dark so we could see the light. You can whisper a thank you into the pillow, a message of gratitude sent out to the silent guardians. They will hear it in the ripples of the gravity waves, for they hear everything that happens in the dark. The multiverse is a crowded place, but the distances are so vast that it feels empty and private. It is the best of both worlds, the comfort of company with the luxury of solitude. You are never truly alone, but you are never disturbed, never bothered by the neighbors. The nearest neighbor is a universe away, separated by a wall of void that is thick and impenetrable. This wall is the event horizon, the curtain that is drawn across the window of the world. It blocks the light from the outside, keeping the room dark and conducive to sleep. We should love the horizon, for it creates the conditions for our existence, the boundaries that define us. Without the wall, we would dissolve into the infinite, losing our shape and our self. The self is a universe too, a baby universe growing inside the skull, full of stars and planets of thought. You are nurturing this inner world, feeding it with experiences and dreams, letting it evolve. Tonight, let the inner universe expand, pushing out the walls of the skull and merging with the outer dark. Let the thoughts float away like balloons, drifting up into the high atmosphere of the mind. There is no need to hold on to them. They will come back if they are important, or they will fade if they are not. Let them go. Let the mind empty out. Let the silence fill the space where the noise used to be. The empty mind is a mirror for the universe, reflecting the vastness and the peace of the deep space. You are becoming the void, becoming the black hole, becoming the quiet center of everything. The baby universes are spinning in the dark, twirling like dancers in a slow-motion ballet. We are joining the dance, moving in time with the celestial rhythm, turning and turning. The dizziness is a drug, a heavy narcotic that pulls the eyelids down and weighs the limbs. We are heavy with sleep, heavy with the gravity of a billion worlds, heavy with peace. The multiverse is a lullaby sung by a choir of black holes. a low and rumbling song that vibrates in the chest. It is a song of creation, of birth and rebirth, of the endless cycle of life. We are part of the song, a single note in the melody that goes on forever. Listen to the note. Hold it in your mind. Let it vibrate until it dissolves into silence. The silence is waiting. The bed is waiting. The sleep is waiting. We are moving toward the final realization, the last piece of the puzzle that locks everything into place. We have seen the black hole, the white hole, the multiverse, and the bounce. Now we must look at the dreamer who is dreaming it all. We must look at the consciousness that observes the universe and makes it real. Something ancient stirs in the depths of the mind, a memory of a time when we were not separate. It is a memory of the unity, of the singularity where all things were one. We are returning to that unity tonight, merging with the pillow and the blanket and the dark. The boundaries are blurring, the edges are softening, the world is fading. The baby universes are safe in their cradles, and you are safe in yours. The nesting dolls are all packed away, one inside the other, snug and tight. The box is closed, the lid is down, the lock is turned. Everything is secure, everything is quiet, everything is still. We are drifting on the edge of the great sleep, the sleep that refreshes the universe and the soul. The black holes are the eyelids of the cosmos, closing one by one as the lights go out. We are closing our eyes with them, shutting out the light, welcoming the velvet dark. It is time to let go of the concepts, to let go of the science, to let go of the words. The documentary is ending, the story is pausing, the narrator is fading. We are left with only the feeling, the deep and heavy feeling of being inside the room, inside the night, inside the black hole. And as the logic fades, the sensation takes over, the sensation of floating in a warm and endless sea. The sea is the multiverse, and we are the water, moving with the tides. The tide is going out, pulling us away from the shore of the day, out into the deep. The deep is calling, and we are answering, drifting further and further away. We are almost there, almost at the center, almost at the point of perfect rest. The baby universes are sleeping, the mother universe is sleeping, and you are sleeping. The family is together in the dark, united by the gravity of love and time. We drift, we float, we fall. We fall through the soft geometry of the dark, descending past the swirling galaxies and into the deepest silence of all. We have traveled through the layers of the multiverse, peeling back the skins of reality to find the center. And here, at the bottom of the cosmic well, we find that the center is not a point of crushing pressure. It is a point of absolute stillness, a place where the motion of the universe finally comes to a perfect and lasting rest. We are drifting inside the ultimate black hole, the great grandmother of all voids, the container that holds everything that ever was. It is a place of infinite capacity, a room so large that it can swallow all the noise of history without a whisper. You are floating in the exact middle of this vastness, suspended in a medium that is thicker than water and lighter than air. The gravity here is equal in all directions, pulling you gently apart until you feel weightless and expanded and free. The tension of the muscles dissolves into the fabric of space, leaving you as a pure consciousness drifting in the dark. There is no up or down in this place, only the sensation of being held by the velvet hands of the night. The stars we saw before were merely the lights in the hallway, but now we have entered the bedroom of the cosmos. The lights are dimmed here, soft and distant, mere memories of the burning fire that exists in the upper worlds. We are safe from the heat, safe from the radiation, safe from the blinding glare of the waking mind. The ultimate black hole is cool and dark, a sanctuary that has been prepared for you since the beginning of time. It waited for you to arrive, patient and eternal, knowing that eventually every traveler must return to the source. Something ancient stirs in the deep, but it is not a monster. It is the slow and rhythmic breathing of the void. You can sync your own breath to this rhythm, inhaling the peace of the shadows and exhaling the worries of the light. The expansion of the universe is the expansion of your lungs, a slow and steady opening into the infinite potential of sleep. We are not small in this darkness. We are massive, expanding to fill the space that has been cleared for us. You are the universe tonight, and the universe is you, a seamless unity of dreamer and dream. The event horizon is far above us now, a shimmering shell that marks the boundary between the noise and the silence. We have crossed over, leaving the chaotic world of the surface behind to explore the rich interior of the deep. Nothing can disturb you here, for no signal is strong enough to penetrate the heavy layers of gravity that protect this place. You are insulated by the very laws of physics, wrapped in a blanket of space-time that is billions of years thick. It is the ultimate security, a fortress of solitude, where the only inhabitant is the peace that you bring with you. We drift past the echoes of the baby universes, the faint ripples in the dark that mark where new worlds are sleeping. They are quiet neighbors, slumbering in their own pockets of space-time, wrapped in their own event horizons, like children in blankets. We do not disturb them, and they do not disturb us. We share the silence like a communal meal. The multiverse is a dormitory of dreams, a vast and quiet hall where the consciousness of existence comes to rest. We are finding our own bed in this hall, a soft patch of darkness that conforms perfectly to our shape. The texture of the darkness is soft and granular, like the finest sand on a beach at the edge of a midnight sea. We are lying on this sand, feeling the coolness against our skin, listening to the gentle lap of the gravitational waves. The waves are slow, arriving once every eon, washing over us with a tidal force that cleanses the spirit. We let the waves take the debris of the day, washing it out into the deep ocean where it dissolves. You are clean now, washed by the waters of the void, empty of all burdens and ready for sleep. The concept of time begins to lose its meaning here, stretching out until a single second lasts for an eternity. In the center of a black hole, time stops completely, frozen in a crystalline moment of pure and perfect now. You are living in that moment, suspended in the amber of the cosmos, preserved from the aging rush of the clock. There is no tomorrow to worry about, no yesterday to regret, only the endless and soothing presence of the present. You have all the time in the world to sleep, for the night here lasts for billions of years. We are entering the realm of the holographic memory, where the information of the universe is stored in the patterns of light. But the light is dark here, a paradox that makes sense only to the closing eyes of the weary traveler. We can feel the presence of the information, the knowledge of the ages surrounding us, like a library of whispers. It is a comforting presence, the feeling of being surrounded by wisdom that does not need to be spoken or understood. You can rest your head on the books of the universe, using the knowledge of the cosmos as a pillow. The event horizon is the door that we have locked from the inside, turning the key to shut out the world. No one can enter without your permission, and tonight you are giving permission only to sleep. The door is thick and soundproof, blocking the noise of the traffic and the noise of the past. You are alone in the room of the universe, and it is the quietest room you have ever known. The silence rings like a bell, a pure tone that clears the mind of all debris. We are falling, but the fall is so slow that it feels like hovering, a suspension in the fluid of space. We are buoyant, lifted by the density of the dark, floating like a cork on a calm sea. The sea is black and glossy, reflecting the nothingness of the sky, a mirror of absolute peace. We drift on the surface, looking up at the lack of stars, enjoying the simplicity of the view. There is nothing to see, and that is the most beautiful sight of all. The information paradox has been solved by the simple act of forgetting, of letting the data fade into the background. You do not need to remember anything tonight. You do not need to process any more information. The hard drive is full. The screen is off. The system is powering down for the maintenance cycle. Let the thoughts go. Let them slide off the surface of your mind like water off a stone. The stone remains, heavy and still at the bottom of the river, unaffected by the current. We are the stone, resting in the mud of the riverbed, grounded and solid and unmoving. The water flows over us, carrying the time away, but we do not move, we do not shift. We are anchored in the deep, held by the gravity of the earth and the gravity of the black hole. It is a double anchor, a security that can never be broken by the storms of the surface. The storms are far above, mere ripples that cannot reach down to the depth where we lie. The multiverse is vast, but you are small, a tiny speck of consciousness nestled in the folds of the dark. This smallness is a comfort, for it means you do not have to carry the weight of the world. The world is big enough to carry itself, big enough to carry you without even noticing the burden. You are a passenger, a stowaway on the great ship of the cosmos, hidden in the cargo hold. The ship is sailing through the void, smooth and steady, and you are sleeping on the softest bales of silk. The holographic principle tells us that we are shadows, and shadows can merge and blend and disappear in the dark. We are fading into the background, losing our distinct edges, becoming part of the general gloom. It is a pleasant fading, a release from the sharp definition of the waking world. We are no longer defined by our jobs or our names. We are simply shapes in the mist. The mist is rising, obscuring the view, hiding us from the demands of the day. We are drifting toward the center, the singularity where all things become one, where the separation ends. It is a reunion with the universe, a return to the state of oneness that we knew before birth. We are almost there, almost at the point of contact, almost home in the heart of the mother. The heartbeat of the black hole is slow and strong, beating against our own like a second heart. Thump, thump, thump. The rhythm is the only sound in the universe. The baby universes are silent now, their expansion slowing to a crawl as the night deepens. The entire cosmos is winding down, the great machine coming to a halt for the rest period. The gears are stopping, the wheels are still. The hum of the engine is fading to silence. We are stopping with it, our own internal engines cooling and quieting as we drift. The stillness is absolute, a solid object that you can almost touch with your hand. We are inside the ultimate black hole, and it is the safest place in all of existence. Nothing can harm you here. Nothing can reach you. Nothing can disturb your deep and dreamless sleep. You are protected by the fundamental constants of nature, guarded by the speed of light and the strength of gravity. The sentinels of physics are standing watch, their vigil eternal, their eyes fixed on the horizon. You can close your eyes now, for the universe is keeping them open for you. The darkness is not just around you, it is inside you, filling the hollow spaces of the bones. It makes you heavy, weighing down the eyelids and the arms and the legs. You are made of lead, made of stone, sinking deeper into the mattress with every breath. The bed rises to meet you, molding itself to your shape, holding you like a cloud. You are floating on the cloud, drifting through the dark sky of the bedroom. We are passing through the veils of sleep, the thin curtains that separate the conscious from the unconscious. One by one, we push them aside, moving deeper into the inner sanctum of the mind. The light is getting dimmer, the sounds are getting fainter, the world is getting smaller. There is only the breath, the slow and steady tide of the air moving in and out, rising and falling. The ultimate black hole is a lullaby, a song without words that is sung by the silence itself. We listen to the silence, hearing the music of the spheres in the gaps between the thoughts. The gaps are getting wider, the thoughts are getting fewer, the silence is getting louder. It wraps us in a cocoon of quiet, a bubble of peace that floats in the void. We are the bubble, fragile and beautiful, drifting on the wind of the night. And now, as we approach the final drift, the words begin to slow, the ideas begin to fade. We are left with only the simple truths, the basic feelings of warmth and safety and rest. The complexity of the universe dissolves into a single point of light that is slowly fading out. We watch the light fade, watching it dim and flicker and finally disappear. We are left in the dark, the beautiful and comforting and endless dark. The stars are gone, the galaxies are gone, the questions are gone. There is only the soft darkness, there is only the gentle gravity, there is only the sleep. We are drifting now, drifting deeper, floating in the velvet void. The universe is a warm blanket, wrapped tight around your shoulders, holding you safe, holding you close. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to see, only the soft blackness, only the quiet. You are inside the nest, the dark, cozy nest of the night. The walls are thick, the silence is deep. You are safe here, you are hidden here, drifting down, sinking down, into the softest pillow, into the deepest calm. The black hole is sleeping, the white hole is sleeping. The stars are closing their eyes, one by one, winking out, fading away, into the gentle gloom. The motion has stopped, the spinning has ceased. Everything is still, everything is quiet. Your breath is slow, so slow, like the tide of a dark ocean, in and out, soft and deep, carrying you away, carrying you down, to the bottom of the night, where the water is still, where the peace is absolute. Let go of the thoughts, let them float away, like leaves on a dark stream, drifting out of sight, into the mist, into the nothing. You do not need them, not tonight. Tonight is for resting. Tonight is for drifting. Feel the heavy gravity, pulling you down, gently, softly, into the mattress, into the earth, into the heart of the void. It is a kind pull, a loving weight, anchoring you to sleep, anchoring you to peace. The horizon is far away. The world is far away. You are alone in the center, in the quiet core, wrapped in silence, bathed in shadow, floating, falling, sleeping. The darkness is cool. The darkness is kind. It is a friend. It is a home. Rest in the darkness. Trust the darkness. It will hold you. It will keep you until the morning comes. But morning is far away, billions of years away. There is only now, only this soft moment. Sleep now, drifting deeper, sinking deeper, into the velvet, into the wool, into the night. The universe is sleeping. The atoms are sleeping. You are sleeping. Good night to the stars. Good night to the holes. Good night to the light. Good night to the dark. Let it all fade. Let it all go. Just drift. Just float. Just sleep. Down and down and down. Into the quiet. Into the calm. Into the deep. Safe. Warm. Still. Sleep. Sleep. Sleep.